These are some of the top 5 chilling missing person cases that are still unsolved to this day. On March 18, 1990, a pair of fraternal twins, Jeanette and Danette, ages 15, went missing without a trace. The day the twins went missing, they were on their way to a local restaurant for lunch. On their way home from the restaurant, they were followed by a strange van with a man in there for most of their walk back home. They would later inform their mother, Mary Sturgis, about this encounter. Later on, they would visit their godfather's house to get money to use a city bus to get to school due to their family moving to a new apartment, which was further away from the girls' school. After receiving $20 from their godfather for a bus and some snacks, the twins would proceed to visit their cousin's house, where they would ask their cousin to walk home with them. Their cousin's mother was very uncomfortable with this happening as it was getting really dark and late, so the twins decided to leave. They would move on to go visit their older sister's house, which they would end up only staying 15 minutes there, and they would also ask her to walk home with them, but she would decline due to having recently given birth. The twins then walked to a local gas station where they would buy themselves some snacks and soda with the $20 that their godfather gave them. Gloria, the clerk working that night, was familiar with the twins, and she didn't see anything off with the girls. They seemed perfectly normal to her, just like their usual selves. Jeanette was last seen wearing a blue shirt over a white turtleneck with a beige skirt, white stockings, and white sneakers, and at the time she was 5 foot and 4 inches and weighed 125 pounds. Her twin sister, Danette, was last seen wearing a white t-shirt with a photo of Mickey Mouse on it, along with white jeans and black shoes. At the time of her disappearance, she was 5 feet 6 inches and weighed 125 pounds. Both of the twins were known to have pierced ears and jahuri curls that went to their shoulders. They also have a scar near their belly button that was caused from surgeries right after birth. Danette was also described as bow-legged, which is often found in dwarfism.
Well, today is my sister and their 47th birthday. They're almost 50 years old. God knows, I hope and pray that before they turn 50, we find out what happened to them. Y'all stop what you're doing. Wish my sister and them a happy birthday. Happy birthday, twins.
On April 20th, 1990, Christopher Kerze, who was 17 at the time he disappeared, stayed home from school, making people believe he was sick. But when Christopher's parents came home, their son and the family's car were nowhere to be seen. Upon coming home, they found a note said to be written by Kerze, stating that he would be back home by 6 p.m. unless he got lost, which was very unusual because the word lost was underlined twice on the note. Kerze was wearing a light blue denim trench coat, a large black sweatshirt, Bugle Boy brand blue jeans with a black leather belt, and a pair of brown leather boots, white socks, a black watch, and a leather wallet which holds his driver license. The family would receive another letter from Duluth, Minnesota, stating that their son had faked being sick just to gain access to the family's vehicle while no one was around. The note also indicated that Christopher Kerze had intended to take his own life that day and apologized to his loved ones. Kerze owned a 20-gauge shotgun, which police suspect he had discarded it. On April 22, 1990, the van was located near the Grand Rapids, Minnesota, but there was no sign of Christopher. Later into the investigation in 2004, the Eagan Police Department received an anonymous letter informing them to end their attempts to locate Kerze and that he would return home when he is ready.
He's living in suburbia someplace with a wife and 3 kids. Just doesn't want to stir up old news. That's sort of the pipe dream. The reality, we are afraid is.
On July 1st, 1995, Erin Marie Gilbert, age 24 at the time, attended the Gerwood Forest Fair located in Gerwood, Alaska, with a man named David Combs. Erin had met Combs several days prior at a bar. The two left the village south of Anchorage at 4 p.m. Gilbert was last seen at the fair's beer garden with Combs before leaving at 6 p.m. At the time, she was wearing a black leather jacket with black and white shirt and mountain boots and black jeans. According to Combs, he and Gilbert returned to his car, but the battery was dead due to him accidentally leaving the headlights on. He told Gilbert that he was going to look nearby for some friends to help, in which he would walk around for 2 hours to try and locate his friend's residence, but to no avail. When Combs would return back to the car, Gilbert was nowhere to be found. Combs assumed she returned back to the fair, and he eventually was able to get his engine running. He would return to the fairgrounds to search for Gilbert till 1 a.m., but she was unable to be located. On Sunday, February 13, Asha, who was 9 years old, and her brother went to church from a relative's house and then returned home. Both of the children went to sleep in the room that they shared together. About an hour later, the power went out in the whole neighborhood after a nearby car accident. The power would eventually turn back on at 12:30 a.m. Asha's father, Harold, would go and check on the kids, to which he would see both Asha and her brother sleeping in their beds. He checked again before going back to bed at 2:30 a.m. February 14th, and they were still fast asleep in their beds. A little bit after Harold had checked on the kids, Asha's brother O'Brien, age 10, remembers hearing Asha's bed squeak. This did not alarm him, as he assumed that she was adjusting her sleeping position. Around that time, it is said that Asha got out of bed and grabbed a backpack that she had packed clothes and her other personal items in beforehand. After gathering her stuff, she left the house. Between the time 3:45 and 4:15 a.m., a truck driver and a motorist had seen a little girl walking south along Highway 18th. Asha's mother, Aquila, awoke at 5:45 a.m. to get the kids up and ready to start the school day. On February 14th was an important day to Aquila, as it was her wedding anniversary and Valentine's Day. Aquila would draw a bath for Asha and O'Brien since they weren't able to take one the night prior. When Aquila opened the children's room to wake them up before the 6:30 alarm they had set and called them to take a bath, O'Brien was asleep in his bed, whereas Asha wasn't. She was nowhere to be seen. Aquila was unable to locate her missing daughter in the house and in the family's car. She would then inform Harold that Asha was nowhere to be seen, where then Harold would inform and reassure that she may be over with his mother across the street. But when Aquila called over to her mother-in-law's house, to which her sister-in-law would answer and reassure her that Asha wasn't there, Aquila would then go into panic mode. Then upon hearing a car next door, she ran outside and called her mother, who would inform her to contact the police. Asha was last seen wearing a white t-shirt along with white pants. The report earlier from the motorist and the truck driver was reported to police after seeing the same little girl missing on TV. The motorist said he turned back around because he found it odd that a small child would be walking by herself at this hour. He claimed to circle 3 times and watched as Asha ran into the woods by the roadside and vanished. That night, it was raining, and the witness would say there was a storm raging when he seen her. County Sheriff Don Crawford believes that the little girl was most likely Asha due to the description being consistent with what information they were given on what she was wearing. He would also state that they also seen her heading the same direction in the same place. Asha has not been seen since.
But she is the type of child that would give you the shirt off her back. She never wanted anybody mad at her for anything. She wanted everybody to be her friend. She wanted everybody to be happy. After 20 years, I still believe my daughter is alive. I do not believe she's dead. And I know somebody knows something. I'm not crazy enough to think that a 9-year-old can disappear into thin air without somebody knowing something.
On Sunday, March 28, 2004, Timothy Perryman, age 53, went for a drive in the family's car. In between 6 through 8 p.m. that evening, Perryman's family would notice that his car was parked in the driveway in front of their Agora Hills residence, and there was no sign of Perryman. He was last seen walking away from his house by his neighbors, walking south around 2 p.m. Perryman only took his driver's license with him as he left $6, some coins, and his credit cards and his social security numbers, along with family photos. Perryman's disappearance sparked urgency due to him suffering from chronic heart and kidney issues. His family suspects that Perryman had left due to the anger and depression he had been experiencing due to the quality of his health and money issues. His family assumed he'd walked into the Santa Monica Mountains. Local police and the National Park Service would search for Perryman or any signs of him, but to no avail. 200 concerned community members searched local hiking trails and rural roads, as for he loved hiking. Perryman was described as 5'9" and 185 pounds with brown hair and hazel eyes. He was last seen wearing a light blue and white striped long-sleeve dress shirt with jeans. As of 2018, this case has not been solved. And there you have the top 5 chilling missing person cases. I couldn't find anything much on Perryman, but if you guys want to go visit any of the links of any of these families, I know Perryman, I could not find anything for Perryman, but I will link them in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe if you want to see more.